What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm going to be doing a Plunder Patrol deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely consistent deck that summons out all sorts of amazing boss monsters to help you go in for game. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Again, your name, description, every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Whitebeard. Whitebeard is an extremely important 3-of in the build that has an amazing ability that during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can special summon one Plunder Patrol monster from your extract with the same attribute as a monster that your opponent controls or in their graveyard. And if you do, equip this card that you control to it, which is amazing that you can basically just summon out one of your ships from the extract that's a same attribute as one of your opponent's monsters, which is just absolutely insane. It also has the ability, if this card is sent from the hand or the monster zone to the graveyard, you can activate this effect to special summon out one Plunder Patrol monster from your deck except a copy of Whitebeard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Plunder Patrol monsters, which is a crazy powerful ability that it floats into another Plunder Patrol monster. We then play 3 copies of Golden Hair. Golden Hair is a definite 3-of in the deck, and this card is just an amazing extender that has the ability you can send one other Plunder Patrol monster from your hand or face up from field to grave to special summon this card from your hand, which is a really good ability just to instantly get this card out on your side of the field without even wasting your normal summon. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can discard a card to be able to special summon this card, but you cannot special monsters for the rest of the turn except Plunder Patrol monsters, which is a really cool ability just to be able to bring this card back. We then play 3 copies of Bluebeard. Bluebeard is a definite 3-of in the build because it helps you draw cards, because if you control a Plunder Patrol monster, except a copy of Bluebeard, then you can actually special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent from the hand or the monster zone to the graveyard, you can discard a card to draw a card, making this card an amazing extender while also being a really good card to help you draw cards. We then play 2 copies of Redbeard. Redbeard is a really good 2-of in the deck, but you only really need 2 copies of this card. It has a really cool ability that during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your extract with the same attribute as a monster that your opponent controls or in their graveyard, and if you do, equip this card that you control to it, basically summoning out the ship and putting your copy of Redbeard in charge of it, just like your copy of Whitebeard does, which is just so cool. It also has the ability that you can actually, if this card is sent from your hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol monster that you control except a copy of Redbeard and equip this card to it, basically moving him from one ship to another ship, which is just super cool. We then play 2 copies of Black Eyes. Black Eyes is a really good 2-of in the deck, but again, you only need 2 copies of this card. It has a really good ability to let you target a Plunder Patrol monster in your graveyard and special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, add that card to your hand, which is a great ability to grab a resource out of the graveyard while also putting this card on your side of the field. It also has the ability, if this card is sent from the hand or the monster zone to the graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol monster in your spell and trap card zone and special summon it in defense position, putting one of your powerhouse cards like Whitebeard or Redbeard back on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Water Enchantress. The adventure engine just works so well in this deck because you don't need any of your normal summon effects, so this card is really good in this particular build to be able to use to help you get your copy of Fateful Adventure and Rite of Arameser on your side of the field, which is just really good to be able to get that copy of Rite of Arameser so you can put Fateful Adventure on your field so you can go into really crazy plays like Wandering Griffin Rider. We then play a single copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. This card is an amazing negate that is super easy to get to with your copy of Fateful Adventure. We then play a single copy of Illegal Knight. Illegal Knight is really good in this deck as a 1-of because it's very easy to summon to your side of the field, and it's a great card to be able to use with the adventure package. We then play 3 copies of Fenrir. Fenrir just goes in just about any deck, especially this, and it's just absolutely insane how powerful this card is, that if you control no monster, you can just special summon this card from your hand, and also during your main phase, you can add a Cashier monster from your deck to your hand, and when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can just spot remove a face-up card your opponent controls and banish it face down, which is just absolutely insane. I love that you can basically just special summon this card and search another copy of Fenrir, and it's one of those powerful board breakers in the game right now. We then play play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is a definite 3 of in the deck, and it's one of the most powerful hand traps that you can play, because this card basically just stops your opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is just really good right now at basically just breaking your opponent's board and stopping them from basically summoning anymore, because you're basically going to get rid of their entire field while giving them a token. So this card is definitely a 3 of in the deck. Plus, it gives them a light monster on the field, so we can use cards like Whitebeard to target it to be able to use it to go into our copy of Lice, which is really amazing. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really good in the deck because it works with our copy of Golden Hair or a copy of Water Enchantress, so it's just really good to be able to get those cards in the grave. We then play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talents. Triple Tactics Talents is a great 2 of in the deck to be able to use, because if your opponent does hand trap you, you can basically draw 2, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card and shuffle it back in the deck, which is just really good to be able to activate any of those effects. We then play 3 copies of Plunder Patrol Shipyard. This card is a definite 3 of in the deck and is just such an amazing card. Shipyard has a really cool ability that Plunder Patrol monsters that you control gain 500 attack for each Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone. Basically, for every one of your Plunder Patrol monsters that is currently on board a ship, they gain 500 attack points, which is just so cool. It also has the ability that you can discard a card to add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand, except a copy of Shipyard. And it also has the ability, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone, set this card, and if you do, return that card, target back to your hand, which is great to be able to do because it gets one of your monsters back into your hand and off board ship. We then play 2 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is great as a 2 of in this build to be able to work in your copy of your Fateful Adventure, which is so cool, also giving you a copy of an adventure token on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. Fateful Adventure is basically the entire adventure package, which is just so important to be able to get to this card, because it helps you get to your copies of your Knight or your copy of Griffin Rider, which is just really important to be able to do, especially being able to get cards like Draco back so you can bounce. Speaking of Draco back, we also play a single copy of Draco back in the build because it's super easy to get to with our copy of Fateful Adventure. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is a definite 3 of hand trap that you can use against your opponent extremely easily to lock down an opponent's monster effect, and also set this card to your side of the field to lock down an entire column of spells and traps, which is really amazing. This card is really good right now, and is a definite 3 of in the deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with 3 copies of Blackbeard, the Plunder Patrol Captain. This card is a definite 3 of in the deck because this card is an amazing combo piece that has a really cool ability that it just requires 2 monsters, including a Plunder Patrol monster. And it has the ability that quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster that you control, and then special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your extract with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. And if you do, equip that targeted to it. Then draw a card, basically putting one of your Plunder Patrol monsters on board ship, which is so cool. We then play 2 copies of Plunder Patrol Ship Lice. This card is a definite 2 of in the deck because it's so amazing and has a really cool ability that during the main phase, quick effect, you can special summon out a Plunder Patrol monster card from your hand or face-up spell and trap card zone. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can discard a Plunder Patrol card to negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Then, if this card was equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand, making this card a definite 2 in the deck and one of the most powerful ships you play in the extract because it's a walking negate. We then play 2 copies of Brawn. Brawn is a really cool card that just makes your copies of your Plunder Patrol ships even bigger, which is really cool because all other Fiend monsters that you control gain 500 attack points, and you can also discard a Plunder Patrol card to target a spell or trap your opponent controls and banish it, which is an amazing ability to be able to do, and it also has the ability that then you can actually add a Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to your hand, which is such an amazing ability, and it's a quick effect if it's equipped with a Plunder Patrol card. We then play 2 copies of Jord. Jord is really good in this deck as a 2-of because this card is amazing at generating tokens, and it's just such a cool combo piece in this build because it has the ability, if your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage tab, then you can add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. Then if this card is equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, then you can special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your deck. You can also target a Plunder Patrol card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, and if you do, place this card in your Pendulum Zone, and you only affect this card once per turn, but its Pendulum effect, once you put it in the Pendulum Zone, is that you can declare 1 attribute and return this card back to your extract, and if you do, special summon out a Plunder Patrol token that's a Fiend level 4, 0 attack, 0 defense, with that attribute to both players' fields in defense position, which is a crazy powerful effect to give your opponent a token so that you can get basically an attribute that you need so you can summon out a ship. We then play 2 copies of Moark. Moark is really good as a 2-of in this build because this card has the ability you can detach a Plunder Patrol card, or discard a Plunder Patrol card, and then target an effect monster your opponent controls and banish it. Then you can add a Plunder Patrol spell and trap card from your deck to your hand, which is great to be able to discard a Plunder Patrol card because a lot of your Plunder Patrol cards, like Golden Hair, want to be in the graveyard so you can use them, and this card is just great at spot removing an effect monster off your opponent's side of the field. Then you get to add a Plunder Patrol spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is insane, and it's a quick effect if it's equipped with a Plunder Patrol card. And you can only effect this card once per turn, and if a Plunder Patrol card that you control would be destroyed by a Battle by Card effect, you can detach a material from this card instead, which is great to be able to use with this card. We then play a single copy of Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is great because you can use this card to be able to make your copy of Totally Awesome, which gives you another negate in the deck, which is just really good. We then play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon is just too good not to play, and it's so easy to make in this deck. Plus, it's a fiend. We then play a single copy of Salamangreat Alamirage because this card works really well with our copy of our Golden Hair, and it helps you make your copy of Blackbeard. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Plunder Patrol before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's super fun, and it's absolutely crazy how powerful this deck actually is. Being able to just control the board and constantly summon out ships is just really, really cool. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.